Hello and welcome to this strange world of Syrax and Flirax.
The elders in conjunction with the New Believers present the German-Japanese flight to Mars in 1945-46, according to the authors of the underground German documentary movie from the Thule Society. The only produced craft of the Honeybee 3 type, the 74-meter diameter naval warfare dreadnought, was chosen for the most courageous mission of this whole century, the trip to Mars. The craft was of saucer shape, had the bigger Andromeda tachyon drives, and was armed with 4 triple-gun turrets of large naval caliber, 3 inverted upside down and attached to the underside of the craft, and the 4th on top of the crew compartments. A volunteer suicide crew of Germans and Japanese was chosen, because everybody knew that this journey was a one-way.
For your eyes only, this message from the elders and new believers is untrackable and cannot be traced. Just after NASA was tipped off about our UFO operation, a huge explosion rocked our HQ. Luckily no one was hurt, and all our data is stored on a secret encrypted external server. NASA has declined to make any comment on this issue.
The large intensity of the electromagnetographic fields and the inferior quality of the metal alloys used then for the structural elements of the drive was causing the metal to fatigue and get very brittle only after a few months of work of the drive. The flight to Mars departed from Germany 1 month before the war ended, in April 1945. It was probably a large crew, numbering in the hundreds, because of the low level of automation and electronic controls inside the saucer. Most of the systems of the craft had to be operated like these on the U-boat of that time, manually. Because the structurally weakened tachyon drives were not working with full power and not all the time, the trip to Mars took almost 8 months to accomplish. An initial short thrust towards Mars was probably used the strong gravitational field close to Earth. After that the craft was coasting for 8 months in an elliptical orbit to Mars with its main drives turned off. Later trips to Mars by the joint Soviet-American craft in 1952 and by the Vatican craft of the Marconi project from Argentina in 1956 reached Mars in only 2 to 3 days, because their drives were working during the whole flight, accelerating in the first half and decelerating in the second. Smaller color converters were probably used to power the systems and life support equipment on board. I do not have any information at the present time about any artificial gravity capability on board the craft, but that could have been easily done with the large anti-gravity drives of the ship. After a heavy, almost crashing landing, the saucer slammed to a stop, damaging irreparably its drives, but saving the crew. That happened in the middle of January 1946. The crash landing on Mars was not only due to the crippled tachyon drives of the craft, it was also due to the smaller gravitational field of Mars generating less power for the tachyon drives. And also due to the thinner atmosphere on Mars, that could not be used as effectively for air braking as the Earth's atmosphere could. The craft was shaped as a giant saucer, a form that is very efficient as an air brake when it is entered into the atmosphere with its luge cross-section perpendicular to the trajectory of descent. One question that I have not answered yet in the affirmative is how were the Germans able to regenerate the air inside the craft for 8 months for this big crew? Quite probably they were using advanced life support systems, developed initially for their larger water turbine and free energy submarines that were cruising the oceans without resurfacing. The radio message with the mixed news was received by the German Underground Space Control Center in Neuschwabenland and by their research base on the